Boy, two-piece, no biscuit, no bev. This ain't looking good, y'all. What's up, guys? That Go the Pencil here, and here we are to do a breakdown and review for chapter 262 of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is known as the Decisive Battle in the Uninhabited Demon-Infested Shinjuku, Part 34. The Resurrection of the Strongest versus the King of Curses. And ladies and gentlemen, this chapter is short, but it does have a lot of information in it, and does open the door for many, many, many possibilities. So, let's not waste any more time, and let's hop right into it. Editing me, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me, and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact. I'm gonna say this now, so people know. I'm joking. The battle just started. Okay, have some faith in you. It just started. All right. He's still getting used to the control. He was Gojo for like 30 seconds. Give him some time. He still needs to wake up. Who? For all my fighting game players out there, you need a couple warm up games. Okay, maybe more than a couple if you're like me. You need to make sure the hands are wake up. But like, come on now, give him some time. He just got his hands on the controls. He's playing with a completely new controller for the first time ever. I know it's revealed he does switch. We'll get into it. But with it being the case, nice, beautiful, calm little cover page. Yuji, my man. I swear these arms are actually consistent in their coloring. I still want to know what they do. We still don't know. What are they? Why are they immune to Sukuna's slashes? Are they? Because I've seen people just say, "Come on, Pencil. These are just the brothers that he ate." Are they? When have any of them looked like this? Like, notably enough, this thing it still reminds me of the most is Mahito's. Like that same thing. His true instant spirit body of distorted execution. That's what this reminds me of the most. But notably, he doesn't use them like Mahito does. He's never even he hasn't even elbowed anybody. With them sharp things, he hasn't elbowed anybody. So I'm not sure what those are for. That excites me, because once again, I still think there's proper potential for that 1v1 to actually go crazy. Especially considering I feel like somehow Sukuna's gonna get those other two arms back. Like, I don't know, I smell it. I feel like we're gonna see Gojo or Go to get hit by a Black Flash. That's in the back of my mind right now. I don't like it. I can smell it coming. But with it being the case, I want to know what these arms do. But this is a nice calm little cover page. I do like how Yuji is still extremely serious on this, but I do like, admittedly, that Gege didn't let it be fully Giga damaged Yuji, like the one who's missing his eye. This is just a nice, clean drawing of Yuji. Very, very good work by Gege. And once again, I do like all the characters who are highlighted here. Basically, I don't want to call them, the heavy hitters of the Shinjuku Showdown, but they might as well be, essentially. Todo, Gojo, Yuta, and Maki. Obviously, if you had to rank them in terms of their contribution, Gojo's number 1, I'd say Yuta's number 2, then I'd say Yuta's number... I think I said Yuta. I think right now, off the top of my head, and I'll definitely do a proper ranking video to further elaborate on this, but Gojo's clearly the number 1 contributor. If you think otherwise, don't lie to yourself. Yuji is number 2. I think he is just flat out number 2. He's been nerfing Sukuna like crazy, all them Black Flashes, all this, all that. I think the battle's only going as well as it did because of Yuji, even if I think permanent, long-lasting damage that's on Sukuna. Oh wait, Choso's here. Shoot! Never mind, this isn't the heavy hitters. Choso's be at the bottom. Well, actually, no, he saved Yuji. So yeah, I guess he's up there. But in terms of long-lasting damage, it feels like something of a debate between Yuta and Maki. Because Sukuna's tongue is back. And I think his belly tongue is back. I think both are back. But his arm that Yuta took off is gone. Still. But the lower right arm has mostly regenerated. Maki's in terms of long-lasting, big damage, he's still pumping that heart manually, I'm pretty sure. And that other arm is still gone. But then again, it's also starting to grow back. But I'd still say Yuta. Yuta did, in terms of performance-wise, I think Yuta's number 3. Then I'd probably give it to Maki. Then between Todo and Choso for the ranking, I'd probably give it to Todo, just because of clutching up and saving everybody. But then again, Choso saved Yuji, and Yuji's still kind of the key to everything right now. So it's a 50-50. But actually, I don't know. Todo actually did damage to Sukuna and landed hits. So I think I gotta give Todo, and I gotta put Todo at the bottom. Sorry, big bro, you kind of fall. But still, overall, a nice W color page. I'm glad this is the title for Shonen Jump. I do wonder, though, in the alternate timeline where Gege was feeling better, what the rest of the chapter would have looked like. But we'll talk about Gege's health and the general way the community's been taking it, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But speaking of color pages, we do have this beautiful, gorgeous color page of Yuta Okotsu and Ryomen Suguna, the king of curses in the end. Listen here. Not one of, no, the prodigy of the modern era. The two face off in their altered forms. So, that's actually pretty definitive. Yuta Okotsu is the prodigy of the modern era. They don't just say the prodigy left, no, the prodigy, which sounds like he's a bigger prodigy than Gojo. And to be fair, there was hinted at last chapter, the whole idea that, hey, dude, you may be even more blessed than I was. Look at you, big fella, look at you, big dog. Okay, let me not talk my smack, Mr. Okotsu. Mr. Okotsu, let me put some respect on your name. So, Yuta Okotsu. This is still, it looks a lot better than it was in the rougher scans that I saw. But I don't know, something about this still feels off. But I'm going to mostly chalk that up to Yuta, right? Like, this is Yuta. This isn't Gojo. And I think they're, once again, Gege through this chapter and how this battle's going to go on, whether Yuta wins or loses, I think a lot of this is going to play into the difference between Gojo Satoru and the body of Gojo Satoru being used by somebody else. Even with the prodigy of the modern era in the body of Gojo Satoru, there's going to be fundamental differences. And I think the way that's been shown here by how it's drawn, beautiful. I like it a lot. And for Sukuna, once again, he's a character who also feels like he gets drawn differently every time. It's interesting that they say they're altered forms here. I'm assuming this is then meant to be Megana, but if this is meant to be Megana, whoa. If this is meant to be Megana, his eyes are looking kind of small. Like, really small. Like, I don't know. Like, remember, we'll see it later on in this chapter. This eye is humongous. But someone did bring up a good point in the comments that, hypothetically, this may be his original form, considering I believe whenever we see his original form, his eyes are drawn very particularly small. That's interesting, though, that we showed the current form of Yuta, but the more ancient form of Sukuna, if that were to be the case. But at the same time, I guess it does make sense, since the King of Curses really is the prodigy of the Heian era. So showing his original form does make sense rather than showing his altered form. Especially considering his altered form right now looks a little rough. That lower eye would not be there if we were showing the original form. But still, very, very good coloring. Gege has an interesting coloring style. Notably, hold on. Those are pencils, naturally. But okay, I'm not gonna bother pulling. I have a bunch of coloring stuff. I do not like to do it. I don't know, something about it. Mainly because I always mess up coloring. But I really like Gege's coloring style. It takes a lot of aspects of gradients and actually uses shading, which is something that Gege traditionally does not do. Gege, I pointed out before and I'll point out again, Gege typically is not a shader. They refuse to do it. They'll use cross-hatching most of the time, but this is once again an example of Gege actually doing like shading and showing the shadows and stuff like that, and the different proportions, the way the light bounces off the both of them. Very, very good work. Gege is a fantastic artist. I clown on them from time to time. I make jokes about them, especially, and you're gonna hear me make jokes very, very soon as we get further into the chapter. But still, they're really, really good. They're really, really good, especially when they have time and take their time. Real good. Are they the top of the modern industry in terms of action? But like, I'm sorry, when you got Hori, when you got Nakaba, like Prime Nakaba, I think he blows even Prime Gege out the water. I'm looking at Suzuki Sensei from Sakamoto days. I think Prime Suzuki Sensei blows Gege out the water on all fronts, art and action quality. And I'm thinking top of the line. Who else is top of the line? The Flupox mangaka, also absolutely insane in terms of like action fluidity and art quality. So like, Gege ain't the top craft, and that's just including like Weekly Mangaka and Shonen Jump. But then again, I guess they technically be top 5 there, because like, what else? What else is in Shonen Jump Weekly? MHA, Sakamoto days. I mean, Dr. Stone used to be in the running, but that's ended for a while now. So I can't really. I could mention Boichi, but yeah, obviously Boichi's really, really good. And I would bring up Murata, but Murata also publishes One Punch Man whenever they feel like it. So like, in terms of weekly stuff, Gege is still definitely up there, but they aren't the best of the best. But that doesn't mean they aren't really, really good. Top of the line art quality here. And speaking of top of the line stuff, look, yeah, it's a go. I do like that he got a cover page. Still, his whereabouts, his existence, his life. Can anyone, like, I keep seeing different answers. Is he alive, or did he cook himself by accident? I think he may have accidentally cooked himself. But then again, he spoke. That's the weird thing. Wait, while he was showing up, while he appeared as a ghost at the end of I can't remember the chapter off the top of my head, but at the end of the Kenjaku fight, he did show up as a ghost, but he was showing like this, but then he turned to Kenjaku and was like, "Hey, thank you, man." But like, did he accidentally delete himself after that, or is he still alive? Because if so, talk about come help. Bro, I get it. You took out. You're big, very, very responsible for big Jaku, dog. But like, bro, slide and assist to something. You got a whole cover, which is very, very nice, though. I'm glad. Takuma as a character, ironically enough, is it crazy to say? No, it may not. Oh well, maybe Higuruma, but I think out of the ones who were just made sources of the modern, no, because Higuruma again. I'd say out of all the Culling Games characters, he kind of, weirdly enough, he got treated the best. Arguably better than Higuruma, because at least he had a whole... Well, then again, Higuruma had a good introductory chapter. And a really, really good fight directly in the Culling Games. So I guess technically they're treated equally, Higuruma and Takuma both. But like, Takuma got better billing than Higuruma in terms of the length of their fight and the display of their powers. Because, they actually got to work. And better than Kashimo, realistically. So, Takuma. Very, very important clutch character, which I'll still admit, was not expecting. But, all that aside, let me actually hop into the chapter itself and talk so much about these color pages. We see that the strongest in history and the new strongest of the modern day immediately go for their domains and immediately declare domain expansion. And I mentioned this before, I do want to mention it again though. I love the difference. The similarity, but the difference in both of their casting. They're both casting with their right hands, naturally, because I believe, I'm not sure, can you? I feel like the hand sign being reversed would mean something. But both of them go for domain expansion. And I like the difference portrayed in both of them. From the hand sign in particular. Notably, they both do this hand sign. I'm not sure what it's meant to represent. Like, I know the Sukuna hand sign, and I'm not sure if I'm doing it right. I don't know the Sukuna hand sign off the top of my head. But this is Enma, I'm pretty sure. But for both of them doing whatever Gojo's hand sign is. What is Gojo's hand sign? What is the Unlimited Void hand sign called? We got time. Chapter ain't long. We got time. What is the Unlimited Void hand sign called? Hand sign. Please. Called. Let me take a look in a book. Gojo's Limited Void. Oh, is this meant to represent the infinity symbol? Is that just infinite? Oh, no. What is the Unlimited Void? I just put Unlimited. The hand seal used for opening Unlimited Void is known as Satuna or Taishakuten in the Hindu god Indra. Okay. So notably, I like how Yuta's is very rigid, very tight, very firm. Like, even his fingers, despite crossing, they're very, like, upright. There's not much bend in them. You can see his ring finger and his pinky are, like, very, very tight. It's very practiced, in essence. And even his thumb is, like, I don't know, maybe my hand is just built weird, but it's freakishly high, too. Meanwhile, Sukuna's is simultaneously more active yet more relaxed from the fact that his fingers further bent. Actually, no, that hurts. Sukuna, what the heck? Why are you bending your finger that far? That's actually easier. But his fingers more further bent. You can see how his hand is a lot less rigid and just generally thicker than Yuta's hand or Gojo's hand. And how his thumb is even lower down. They're casting the exact same hand sign, but there are differences in how it's done. And I even like the difference in their facial expressions. Goda is very... like, he's looking at you like blue-eyed people do. He's like, look into my soul. Oh, you can't see one? Don't worry. I can see all of yours. Meanwhile, Sukuna, while he does still have that big bulbous right eye, his left eye, which is mostly covered, is still... it's relaxed, but it's devious. Versus Yuta's very clear, wide-eyed focus. And we see Kotsu and Sukuna in the Shrunken Barrier. And I know, should I just call him Yuta? I feel like Goda's so fun, but I've seen a lot of people call him Yujo. I've seen a lot of, like, other big content creators, they call him Yujo. Which makes sense. I like Goda, though. I like Goda because of the Goda aspect. And I know that technically, we didn't call Kenjaku Ghetto Jaku or anything like that, and this is the exact same scenario, so I should just call him Yuta. But, like, man, Goda's D. I like Goda. And we did call Meguna. We didn't, well, I mean, we called him Sukuna, but, like, we called him Meguna. We didn't really call Yuji Kun anything, though. We just called him Sukuna. So, I mean, I guess. I'll flip-flop between. Like, I've been flip-flopping between Yujo, and Goda. I'll probably flip-flop between Yuta, Gojo, and... Maybe not Gojo, but Yuta, Goda, and Yujo. I'll be flip-flopping. I hope you all don't mind. But, we see they both open a domain expansion. Yuta Coach specifically going in with the Shrunken Barrier. He is also breaking the laws of physics right now, because they should not fit in there. But, with that being the case... This reveals something interesting and actually gives our characters and cast and crew a chance to do something, if only for 3 minutes, depending on how long this clash ends up lasting. Yuji and Todo were excluded from the domain. They can leave. Like, notably, maybe they shouldn't, but Yuji, buddy, pal, I know you have your own RCT, but right now, while Yuta's giving you the chance, I think Uui should generally show up, teleport Yuji back, and help him fully heal up. Get him fully fresh. Obviously, he's going to be fatigued regardless. He's going to have his wounds healed, but he could get his eye back. He could get all the remaining cuts he has on him fully healed. Like, he could go take a little break and get freshened up so we can come back and handle business right now. Todo himself is mostly fine. Like, Sukuna does not hit him at all in 260, so... Actually, no. Yeah, 260. So he should be good. But still, I'd say fully heal up. And number 2, gain some distance. Right now, say Goda does win, you still don't want to be near him. It's still Goda. It's still Gojo in a way. Meaning a lot of his attacks are big splash damage and will have AoE effects. I mean, they don't want to get close. So the fact that Goda did exclude him from the domain does give Yuji time to run away and heal a bit. Or at least take the time he has now to heal. Allows Todo and Yuji to prep and battle plan and maybe even explain some stuff to each other. Considering, once again, this is the first time they've seen each other since Shibuya. And also... it's going to lead to an interesting scenario for other characters that hypothetically come back. Right now, Maki is alive. Somehow. But she's alive, so she could come back and get ready to cook. And we could possibly get Maki, Todo, and Yuji all jumping at the same time. Who knows? Kusakabe may be healed. We may get him back involved. Like, there's now time and place for setup to occur after this. Kind of how they planned around Yuta's domain. And, like, how, okay, if it breaks or he breaks it, then we know this is a signal for Maki to come in. Same thing here. But, of course... there's the 50-50 shot that they don't do any of that because Yuta loses, right? Because if Yuta wins, then Malevolent Shrine will break, both domains will clash, they'll be out of their curse techniques, bada bing, bada boom, they box him up. Or, if Sukuna wins, his domain will still be active, he may expand it, as I'll mention later, and they all be cooked. So it's a 50-50 gamble. Like, they're in a rough spot. Personally, though, with Uui being the teleporter, as long as he can, I'd take Yuji back to Shoko. I'd get him fully healed up. Once again, Shoko may be busy, but I'd say it's worth it. Yuji right now, while he's awakened, while he's still feeling that fever, while he has that 8th Black Flash fresh in his system, get him fully healed up. See what happens then when he's back at 100%, at least physically. Fatigue-wise, he won't be, not until this battle's over and it's been like a week, but... I say we could get Brawl all freshened up, but with that being the case, this does make sense as a logical play. Initially, I was kind of interested in seeing whether or not Yuta would include them, but it just makes sense. Now that Yuta is Gojo, he's going to be fighting at a much higher level than likely Yuji and Todo could just keep up with at all. I'm still impressed that Todo's able to keep up with awakened Yuji at all, being completely honest. So it makes sense to keep him out for that sense. And also just the complexity of the domain scenario. Like a lot of people mentioned, in universe, there's just a lot of unknowns. We as readers are very blessed because we get to see everything. We get to see into the heads of these characters. We get to read their minds. We get in their brains. But like in universe, I don't know half of the stuff that we know. So... not gambling them hypothetically still being affected by Malevolent Shrine, even if Yuta were to single sure target Sukuna and not them, it's the smartest play. It's the smartest play. I give him due credit for that. And I'm interested to see what happens with these two. Honestly, though, can't they move that barrier? Like that may sound crazy, but like, couldn't, like, I don't know. Where would you move it, though? Realistically, you know what would be crazy? No, the range like isn't that good. But they could pull like a Kenny and just drop it in the ocean. So like when it breaks, even if Sukuna wins, he's gonna break out and be like underwater. But Todo would have to move it, or Uui would have to move it, and that would require getting close in Ui's case. And for Todo's case, he wouldn't be able to move it that far. Like one of Mei Mei's crows would have to like dive under the water. And I'm not sure. Well, Toto's range is big. It's revealed to not be like beyond 200 meters or even exactly 200 meters because he couldn't save Yuji and Choso because they were at the epicenter of the detonation. So, yeah, it makes sense. I say leave the domain where it is and just hope for the best after that. Or prep up and figure out now that you do have time to prep up. But with that being the case, we do get a very crucial explanation. I'm sorry, I have absolutely no idea what that was. I may just be genuinely insane a little bit. But with that being the case, we see this. The countermeasure Gojo Satoru worked out against Sukuna's domain was a shrunken barrier. For approximately 3 minutes, it's possible to withstand the effects of Malevolent Shrine beating down on the barrier from outside the domain. So, he did just, as it was revealed, he copped Small Ball. Small Ball, I'm not as delirious as I was when I was recording the spoiler discussion, so I can speak more clearly now. I can speak with a more open brain. Allow me to show you the key to defeating Sukuna using Goda. As you pointed out, I do agree that domaining, based on what happened here, obviously you may have been able to argue that Yuta could have done something else because he caught Sukuna off guard. He didn't immediately domain, so maybe he could have teleported Yuji and Toto out of there, or Toto and Yuji could have just teleported themselves out of there with Toto, maybe, but I'll agree. A lot of y'all were right. I think this first domain was necessary, but now that they're inside it, we can come up with some interesting strats. Hypothetically, if the domain wasn't possible, I still think spamming Sukuna with reds or unlimited hollows could work. Mainly because if Sukuna is standing in domain, right, and you launch an unlimited hollow in his direction, specifically unlimited, because the thing about hollow purple, Sukuna could dodge. His domain is 200 meters, or at any size at all. He could dodge it. But as long as you keep launching them bad boys, the unlimited variations of it, they should fill up the range of the domain, meaning Sukuna would have to leave the range of his domain and expose himself to any attack after that. And or you could just keep doing unlimited hollows. Right now, there's no reason Goda shouldn't be able to spam that. He has the 6 eyes. He has the limitless. He does not have full memories and access to how to use the limitless, but he saw unlimited hollow as it works. And let's be real, y'all. If Yuta can perform a domain expansion to the same potency of Satoru Gojo, and it's a small ball domain, which he's never shown the ability to do before in his own body, he can do anything else. I know it sounds crazy, but I do think Unlimited Hollow is a lower skill ceiling thing than domain expansion. Just because the domain is described as the apex of Jujutsu, it requires so much extra level thought and effort and input and all that. So, I think Unlimited Hollowing Sukuna would work if you want to go with the outside domain approach. But I will readily concede that late morning me or early morning me was generally tweaking. Maybe the domain clash is necessary. I'll go with that. However, unless they're still trying to save Megami right now, the strat while they're in domain, at least spam reds. Spam reds to the moon. Because, well, I'll go further into it the further we get into the chapter. I'll save that. But remember, we're going to talk about spamming reds or limited hollows. Unlimited hollows are really more dangerous, but we're going to think on that. We're going to keep it in mind. But we see that Goda explains something, or Yuta explains something. We're in Yuta's head, so I'll just call him Yuta. Doing the switch training with Gojo-sensei allowed me to elevate my barrier techniques too. Taking Sukuna's fatigue into account, I should be able to stall the domain for 3 minutes like Gojo-sensei did. So, that's interesting. This implies that Yuta's high-level refinement and ability to control barriers, such as hypothetically the single target sure hit, is something he only learned after doing the switch training with Gojo. Intriguing. Got me stroking my beard. Because you know what that implies? It implies that Gojo may have been able to do the same thing. Maybe. But here's the thing. Maybe Gojo was doing that, but he didn't accidentally shut off all things. Or I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting because of how it's described here. Yuta did evolve, essentially, from doing switch training with Gojo's body, specifically in regards to barrier techniques. Such as domains. I don't know, it's a little bit interesting. I wonder if that implies that Gojo could have done that, and thusly, if he had been paying more attention, focused his sure hit just on Sukuna, and then Sukuna never would have been able to adapt Maharaga to Unlimited Void, because Megami Soul would have gone untouched. Or if that's still just a Yuta only thing, because of the nature of his domain or something, he can do the single sure target thing. And of course, If he's not doing that to Sukuna right now, the question is Megumi's soul still getting bombarded by a limited void? Is he? Possibly? Because we know the sure hits don't always cancel out. So, like, is Megumi technically getting, like, hit with his what? 6 unlimited void right now? I actually don't know. Because we know his soul is still active there. It's even reachable to the point where Yuji could, like, wake up! Wake up! And Megumi was like, 5 more minutes. I need 5 minutes. And they kick Yuji out. So, like, technically Megumi's soul is still there. So I'm not sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing that you just domain expansioning him again and possibly overloading his soul with even more information that was already overloaded with. May actually be doing a bit more damage to Megumi than they expect. But with that being the case, we see Sukuna's beautiful. I don't know. I know it's uncolored mainly because Gay isn't feeling well and thusly, you know, they didn't have enough time. But still, I think this is just verbatim my favorite domain symbol in the entire series. More than Kenny's, more than Dagon's, even though I love a good island. More than Jogo. This is my favorite domain symbol ever. It's just so cool. It's so cool. It's cool in the best way possible. Like I said in the spoiler discussion, it resembles a lion's mane, fitting heavily into Sukuna's king aesthetic. I love the multiple bulbous eyes. I like how the middle eye is gigantic and also in pain. I like the teeth, once again showing the hunger, the desire, the need to consume all that Sukuna truly is. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So clean. So clean. I still think it works just as good, if not better, than the original one. Though I think I do get the merit of the original one because it fits into Sukuna's ideas of structure. And how, even though he's, like, seemingly inherently chaotic and destructive and malignant, and he would never, ever, King Lord Sukuna, he would never care about order. Nah. Deep in his core, Sukuna himself is still somewhat all about order. You can still see the desperation and the desire and the need behind this. And as someone pointed out, the main reason this probably still looks different isn't just because of Sukuna feeling better, or lack of feeling better. It's also because he's using domain expansion differently. Ultimately, Gojo's sacrifice isn't fully in vain still, because Sukuna's original domain pathing just isn't working anymore. So he has to use the new domain pathing, which is likely leading to this new design. But still, whatever reason for the design, beautiful. I love it. But we see that Ryomen Sukuna, on the other hand, was able to rid himself of the previously imposed 99-second time limit of restrictions by Malevolent Shrine's restricting Malevolent Shrine's effective range to only the outline of Okotsu's domain. You know what that means, though? In a roundabout way, you know, he would just expand it, though. That's the thing. I wonder, like, what the expansion rate is. In a roundabout way, if Gojo or if Goda had messed up and made the domain normal sized, he may actually not have had to worry about the domain shattering. Because if Sukuna likely tried to up the ante of it and, like, expand the range, he'd probably start to get closer and closer to incurring that time limit. And while 99 seconds isn't that long, Goda does have 5 minutes. So if he just had 5 minutes unabated without having to worry about the domain, what would happen? But still, I don't blame him. Sukuna, he took a gamble and it worked out. He perfectly guessed what Yuta was going to do. He thought about small ball, remembered small ball, and made small ball so Sukuna could abuse the size of small ball just as before by using Malevolent Shrine. Very big brain motions. However, he doesn't do what I thought would be possible. Well, at least not yet, to where he gets in contact with Goda, thus negating the Sure Hit Unlimited Void, and then focusing all the Sure Hits off of Goda into the barrier shell itself. Because, notably, when Sukuna is doing the original domain clashes with Gojo and Small Ball, he's only attacking the outside of the domain. He could still attack from the inside. We don't know if the inside of Small Ball is still as durable as the outside or anything like that. We don't know if that compactness applies to all levels of the domain sphere, or just the outer shell of it. But Sukuna doesn't do that, or at least not yet, because we do get to see something very, very interesting. 3 minutes. Or, sorry, I got Final Fantasy VII remake flashbacks, but 3 minutes. Within these 3 minutes, I'll damage Sukuna to the point that he can't maintain Malevolent Shrine. And then Sukuna says back, or thinks back, I don't need 3 minutes. I'll destroy Unlimited Void and expand my effective range. This time, I'll be sure to slaughter them all. So, 2 sides are revealed here. 1. They still want to save him. Or at least that's what it seems like. Yuta says, I'll damage Sukuna. So you're gonna he doesn't say he's going to execute Sukuna. He doesn't say he's going to defeat him. He's going to damage him to the point he can't use Malevolent Shrine. Meaning he's going to keep him alive. Dog, if you don't just unlimited all the way of Mega Man, come on, dog. Like, at least that's what that implies to me. Maybe Gota's going for the... Like, maybe he's going for it, but at least based on this single panel, it seemed like he's still just going for the damage approach, which is something we'll talk about in a second. But we see that Sukuna's like, all right. You know, it's been real, and it's been fun. This new Heian era was the one, but I can see that you want free, and I shall not allow thee to stop me. So we shall see how you will breathe. He's gonna slaughter them all. He's fully done, which is interesting. And I wonder, is them all just Yuji and Toto? Because, dude, everyone else is gone. No one else is there, buddy. So, like, once you get through Gota, Yuji, and Toto, I guess maybe he's like, oh, that's it. No one else is left to challenge me. Which is very unfortunate for Maki. But if Maki could just go for the head, we wouldn't have this issue. But of course he can't. But with that being the case, Sukuna is fully locked in now. He's like, yeah. You know what? We're off him. One thing I do wish we got to see, once again, we may have gotten to see in the full version of this chapter if Gei didn't fall sick. But I would have loved to see Ume and Akari's reaction to 2 more domain expansions. Especially considering Ume would likely sense Gojo's cursed energy be like, what? Like, I assume they tweak out. And Akari would be like, like, I kind of wish we got to see reactions. Well, I mean, we got a little bit of reaction to Sukuna's domain expansion, at least the Flame Arrow, but still, a little more from those two would be great. Once again, I'm hoping we get to see their fight. I'm still huffing straight copium. I know a lot of people keep saying it'll happen eventually, especially if we're going with the common community idea that, especially with the reveal that Gei's like, oh, there's going to be an arc after this. And I think, hold on, is JJK, let me look that up too. Is JJK appearing at Jump Festa? Is JJK appearing at Jump, not that letter, Jump Festa. No, maybe. Oh, no, 5 months ago. I think this is the last ever. No, see, I can't tell. But Gege said there's going to be another arc after this. So maybe there's still hope for Carver Surgery to happen in that arc? Maybe, I don't know. I'm still huffing Kobe. I really want to see more of that fight. I stand on what I said a few months back, where I think that could be one of the best fights in JJK as long as they let Hikari cook. The question is, will they let Hikari cook? But of course, we gotta get to the slobber knocker of this chapter, the literally slobber knocker, as we see Yuta go to use what is revealed to be blue. It isn't revealed here, but a lot of y'all were saying it was blue, and just based on how the lines are drawn, it does appear to be blue. And Sukuna's like, hey, kid, that's a nice body you got there. Take notes from Kenjaku, huh? I like your style, kid. I like the cut of your jib. It's very neat. It's very nice. Very smooth. Very buttery. Yeah, I'm gonna need them hands, though. And proceeds to immediately... this is still crazy. And you know what? I actually bet he only does it with one arm, too. That's great. I thought he had used both nubs. I thought he had used both nubs to encircle Gota's arm and lead into the two-piece, no biscuit, no bev. But... no, he just uses one arm to lower... uses one stub arm to lower Gota's strike, which Gota tries to do. Yuta does react in time to try and punch back. He cancels the blue in order to react to that. But it looks like Gojo used the blue that Gota was spawning to draw him to him, used his own forward momentum, redirected Gota's defense, and then two-pieced him immediately with the one arm. He bop. Just straight to Yuta's jaw. Now that's a little bit crazy. But, with that being the case, Yuta realizes, oh, sweet mother of mercy, he bypassed infinity with domain implication? So he's able to activate it while using domain expansion. Naturally, what occurred within a domain, your little crows couldn't even enter, wouldn't be known by you all. So, two things here. I'll go into the red stuff soon, because I told you to remember it, and I told you I'm going to talk about it. But, primarily, I see a lot of people, myself included, initially in this spoiler discussion, being like, what in the world? What do you mean he doesn't know? How could he not know? Why doesn't he have all Gojo's memories? It is mentioned, all the way back when. It is when Gojo gets sealed, I do believe. Kenjaku, after being ghetto for presumably a period of about... We don't know exactly when Kenjaku took over Ghetto's body, but it couldn't have been too long, or else the body would have gone bad. Because, remember, Gojo and Ghetto fell on the same day. So, we're currently on Christmas right now. They're all fighting right now on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. I forget exactly which one. But, Kenjaku, who was Ghetto for a period of, at least by the time of Shibuya, will be about 8-9 months. Even he didn't have access to all of Ghetto's memories. They were still slowly drip feeding to him. So it makes sense that Yuta, who's only been Gojo for, at this point, less than a minute? Maybe, if that? Maybe he's been Gojo for 2 minutes, but even then I feel like he'd be moving even more urgently if he only had 3 minutes left. Yeah, he wouldn't remember everything just yet, just based on how Kenjaku's technique works. Now, this doesn't seem to be the same as the incarnated players who have access to all the memories immediately. Because technically, Goda isn't an incarnated player, he's a fusion. A fusion of a different technique and Gojo's body. So it does make sense that Goda doesn't have full access to everything. That's how Kenny's technique has been established to work for a long time now. I just forgot. Oh, yeah, I ain't perfect. I forgot. It'd be like that when it'd be like that, especially when it'd be like that. But for this, I've been seeing a lot of people immediately be like, man, Goda, you're trash. How do you get two-piece so easily? You got blitzed, or you got your own attack used against you, pulled into a downswing by one nub arm, and then two-pieced, no bev. You got to be fraudulent. Gojo was just never him. Two things. Number one, Satoru Gojo was the strongest because he was Satoru Gojo. Not just the strongest because he is Satoru Gojo. That's the thing. Gojo was strong on his own. And he had years more experience with the body and the flesh, and he refined and he practiced much, much more. While it's revealed in this chapter that Yuta did do switch training with Gojo, we don't know how long that was. Because remember, Yuta still had to do switch training with Itadori. And we know that they most likely didn't spend the whole month. So this is Yuta getting fresh hands on the controller for the first time in who knows how long over that month time that they had to do the switch training. Number two, this is also, Yuta under a whole bunch of nerves. He just took over Sensei's body, and he doesn't know how this is going to go. So yeah, he's going to be caught off guard by someone who's perfectly ready to use their possessed vessel to do this. Three, he's just not necessarily used to fighting with the Limitless, or this perspective, or anything like that. Imagine if... This is going to sound weird. The strongest person on the planet. Let's just say I snap my fingers, switch places, or switched your consciousness with theirs. They're now in your body, you're in their body. Now, I know the strongest people on the planet watch my videos. All of that guy with the pencil viewers are jacked. But, even stronger person. Or actually, let's go with a more fictional example just for logic and reason. Say I swap your brain with Superman's. Are you going to immediately understand how to do everything? Especially when you don't have an instant feed of all the memories? No. Your muscle memory is going to be different. The way you feel is going to be different. Heck, remember, Yuta and Gojo aren't even the same size, nor the same biological age. Everything is fresh to Goda. So, he's kind of like a baby. A weird baby, considering he's like a fully conscious, 16 or 17-year-old. But still, he's kind of baby. So, it makes sense that these first two hits would be so free for Sukuna, because he knows. He dealt with the original. He dealt with the better one. He dealt with the one that had that same body for literally 2 decades plus, nearly 3. So yeah, of course Sukuna's going to know how to respond and deal with him. And 47, Sukuna also knows that he can take advantage of something like this. Yuta was under the impression that the Infinity would work. He was ready to just be able to no-sell it. But since he didn't have access to Gojo's memories and didn't get to see what happened in the domain expansion, he wasn't ready for Infinity to just be bypassed and get two-pieced. So he likely didn't have his cursed energy guard up that well. So I think that's reasonable. However, let's talk about how Yuta's fighting Sukuna and how I would change it in this specific domain clash. He uses blue here. That's to Sukuna's advantage. It drew him in. And he's very specifically drawing it back like a Kamehameha. At this point, with what Sukuna's doing, and where Goda should be in terms of output and everything, especially in comparison to Sukuna, the best game to play right now is either, if you're going to just try to defeat him, up it. And don't stop upping it. Every single attack should be a red. At this point, if you aren't trying to execute him, and possibly yourself, every single attack should be a red. Boom, 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 everything. Just keep sending him back. Keep sending him back and keep doing damage. And you may be saying, well, Pencil, now he knows he can do domain amp. Should he still do that? He should have done that regardless. Because remember, even when Sukuna was at way higher output, when he was Megana, and he had the wheel above his head, when Gojo fired a red that didn't even detonate, it was just a red blast. Sukuna, while using domain amplification to lower the potency of it, still took a decent chunk of damage. He was still burned, and that was just from a regular red. When he was hit with a red and he didn't domain amp in time, he had a whole chunk of his face burned off. So, really, it should just be bang, red, bang, red, bang, red, bang, red. And remember, he's Goda. The fusion of Satoru Gojo and Yuta Okotsu. He doesn't have to worry about cursed energy. That boy is good. Just keep firing. It may be reverse curse technique, but keep unleashing it one after one after one after another. I get why he wouldn't use Hollow Purple, the traditional one, because as people pointed out, yeah, that would take time. And time that he wouldn't have, especially considering Sukuna would be all up in his face. But he should just be bang, 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 bang. And if he really wants to get creative with it, and he doesn't want to waste too much time, smack a red and a blue together. That's all it takes to make Hollow Purple. People were pointing out, well, maybe he wouldn't be able to... Well, not... See, I said Hollow Purple again. Unlimited Hollow. Let me make it clear. Unlimited Hollow. Unlimited Hollow is an easy access technique. The main reason you don't do it is because you likely do want to direct it, because it's revealed that Unlimited Hollow can bypass Infinity. But right here, right now, it's proved that Gojo can live it, and Sukuna's in a really bad physical spot. Just smack them together. The reason it took Gojo so long to do it is because his output was super duper low and he had to do chance. As far as we know, Goda's fresh. He's completely good. His output's at max. Meanwhile, Sukuna's output is super duper nerfed. So he should be able to smack Unlimited Hollow together, eat it, while Sukuna gets nearly vaporized again. If not flat out vaporized, considering how close this Unlimited Hollow would be. And the thing is, if Goda starts really plotting and really working away with it, even while Sukuna's using Domain Amp, he should have access to some pretty crazy tech. Like, remember that spear of, or that ring of blues that Yuta did, or Gojo did against Sukuna, which they would have seen because the crows would be there because it wasn't a domain clash. He can do that. He can just start point blank shooting blues, reds, anything. Because right now he should have the advantage thanks to his boundless cursed energy pool from the 6 eyes plus Gojo's regular high amounts of cursed energy being fully fresh, and Yuta's or Sukuna's lowered output. Yuta's done numbers for a reason. And another thing that Yuta should have access to, it's something that, admittedly, Gojo himself didn't do. He can turn up the heat. Remember, domain amplification is not perfect. It's perfect for Sukuna, because he's very, very powerful, but right now, Sukuna's output is in the garbage. And we know when your output's in the garbage, your domain amp can be lessened worse and worse. We see all the way back in Shibuya, when faced with 2 domain amplification users, Gojo was just like, this is my passive infinity. This is my non-passive infinity. And he just jacked himself up a whole bunch. And when he jacked up the infinity, Hanami couldn't compete, and he could literally just crush Hanami against the wall. Now, obviously, there are no clear walls in this domain, but remember, just based on how we've seen blues being able to be used and set up, he could set up a max output lapse blue right behind Sukuna, and then push the infinity to the moon and make that the wall. Sure, Sukuna can domain amp through it, but his output's in the trash right now. Domain amp ain't gonna protect him from everything. And if that don't work, use a red. And if that don't work, Unlimited Hollow. Once again, Yuta still definitely has a chance here if he starts moving with a little bit more malice. Don't get me wrong, I think he's not moving with enough malice. I think this soft little baby blue ain't enough. Go big. Go crazy. Go stupid. No. Like, legit, have while out. Especially while you only have 5 minutes and you're worried about possibly dying, you might as well. That's the thing. You might as well Unlimited Hollow. If both of you go out to it, perfect. If only Yuta goes out to it, perfect. That's more damage to Sukuna, and he can't recover it right now. If you do any sort of damage to Sukuna, it's a win. It's an absolute win. And notably, the bigger damage he goes for, whether that just be red spamming, whether it just be blue spamming, whether it just be Unlimited Hollow spamming, it don't matter. It don't matter, man. Get him up out of here. And I think red still is the best option, though. Red seems to maybe doesn't take longer than blue. I don't know. He kind of just points like he leaped into Sukuna's lap and then immediately did a red. So I'm not sure if it takes too much, but just let him go. Let it fire. Let it bang real quick. Like, he has no real reason not to. At this point, even with Domain Amp on the table, Sukuna's output's low enough that it shouldn't be enough. So, I don't know. I'll make a full, like, proper strategy guide, though, because this is like a multifaceted test for Goda right now, just considering he only has 5 minutes. But, with it being the case, we do cut away. And we see Rika hitting the... Up there. No. Yuta. Yuta's body is on the floor in the hold of the Queen of Curses. Rika, fully manifested. However, Rika is not helping Goda. This, as someone pointed out, Rika's... The thing is, though, funny thing is, this isn't Rika Orimoto's soul. It isn't. It's the husk left behind by the real Rika. So the question is it just going to sit there clutching Yuta's body the entire time or not? And another weird question, why? Hold on. In fact, I do have access to Viz from right here. So let me visit up. Let me go to Shonen Jump. Let me run all the way back because it's gonna be far in the darkness. It is far. Where are you? Where are you? Here. There we go. 261. Let me take a look. Because someone pointed out, maybe if because notably my Kenny Copium only gets stronger if what I believe to be the case is the case. Let me see. Yuta cut in half. Let me go to there. Was he bleeding from his top? Let me see. Looks like he was. But it looks like the bleed was high. I can't tell. Someone correct me. I thought that Shoko had to remove the top, take the top off, and transfer Yuta's brain into Gojo to do the thing. And that's how Kenny's technique worked. I thought it was brain. But if Kenny's technique ain't brain, and it's just like a legit uplink conscious move, new conscious, and all Shoko did was heal Gojo's body, reconnect it, and then stitch it back together in terms of the arm and stuff like that, and then healed that, and then Yuta kind of just neuralinked over, then Kenny is still alive. Kenny has to still be alive in that case. I couldn't cope. I'm still in the roof. Because if he doesn't actually have to rely on the brain, if he's hot body to body, then we should be good. The only reason I'm questioning this is because the bleed looks lower here. In 261, when we get a clean shot of Yuta's face, it's on page... It's the third to last page. It's the third to last page. It's right before they go to domain expansion. We see Yuta, and the bleed is coming all the way down. It's coming all the way down from here. Like, it's from his hairline down. But here, the bleed is only, like, up where you would think his head would have gotten sliced open. But if his head didn't get sliced open, then Yuta should be fine. He'll probably just wake up back in his body once it demanifests, because his body should be fine there. In fact, now that it's fully re-healed, it's probably just on cooldown. As long as he's still alive. Same thing, he's still alive. So, yeah, Yuta should be fine. I think this is a hint to show that Yuta will be fine. The question is, will Rika end up helping, or is she just going to keep crying? Considering she may not recognize Goda, a lot of people point that out, she may just flat out not be able to recognize Yuta in Goda's body, because fundamentally different, and she's obviously tied to this body, then maybe she won't help, but I still think Rika could be a very useful asset, considering she can breach dimensions, kind of, but then again, she couldn't go... She was dealing with the cockroaches, but I'm not sure she could have entered the three-way domain clash and helped Yuta out there. She may need to be trapped in the domain immediately. So she may not be able to help from there, but I don't know. Rika's role is going to be something interesting to see. Especially considering I do want to see more of Rika versus Sukuna. I feel like we kind of got, not robbed, she did good in the little domain clash, but I do want to see more of the king versus the queen, and a lot of people point out maybe Rika's possibly a cursed W. Maybe she hasn't fully evolved yet, especially considering this is technically a new Rika, not the original Soul one who may have limited the fully manifested Rika before. She may awaken here, and I wouldn't even be mad at it. I'd be more interested to see the King of Curses fight against the Queen of Curses more intently. But we also see that JJK is in fact on break. It will return in 21 days. So let me run the calcs. I'm about to run some calcs. Hold on. Call me the calc beast. Calling the calc beast. 21 days from the 9th, I presume. So 7, 14. Okay, so probably around like 1st July. Or like probably the July 3rd is when we'll get leaks again. That's fine by me. I'm chilling. Notably, I ain't not gonna hustle. You know what I'm talking about? I'm more than fine for Gage to take bricks. and I mentioned it back at the beginning, I do want to talk about it quickly. Y'all, let Gege rest. And let Gege rest as much as they need. And also, please don't be mad at them for releasing this incomplete chapter. Y'all realize they do not own this manga. The manga's owned by Shonen Jump. Gege does not see all the money for this. It's all Shonen Jump, who then distributes Gege their paycheck. Like, Gege gets royalties, like most mangaka do. But, yo, mangaka do not have anywhere near as much control over their IP or their freedom of production that you would think they do. Look at Oda. Admittedly, Oda also just has crazy work ethic and also is like literally insane and needs to be like told to take breaks from what I've heard. But even Oda, the most popular mangaka, dare I say, of all time at this point, I don't know, his manga sold the most. But obviously that's because of the length and production. But stuff like that, it's still very, very popular in One Piece. Even he doesn't have full, total creative control. When he's told to do something, he does it. Even Akira Toriyama, back before they had passed away, a big reason that Dragon Ball Super happened is because they were told to make it. They're like, hey, Dragon Ball's money. Make something new. And Toriyama was like, okay, I have to. Okay, I will. That's kind of just how this works. Gege, especially considering I think this is their first major successful manga, they likely don't have anywhere near as much control as they want. So it's okay for them to still have to push out this chapter because they were already on a break. I'm happy that they were able to get out something at all. And notably, at least in my opinion, I know a lot of people say, nothing happened this chapter. A lot happened this chapter. Am I tweaking? Am I tweaking? Because one, the confirmation that Todo and Yuji are okay and not in the domain clash is big. That leads to infinite options for what they could do from this point on. The confirmation that Goda is not going for the slaughter on Sukuna is also very, very big. Sukuna being ready to slaughter everyone is also very, very big because that changes the entire format of the battle going from here on out. Seeing the comparison between these two at the start is also very, very important. It sets up the dynamic that these two are going to have in the domain clash. Also revealing that Sukuna's ability to go band for band with domain is very, very interesting, and being able to use domain amp this well against Goda, once again further establishing the difference between Satoru Gojo and Satoru Gojo's body being wielded by somebody else, that's all really, really good, and getting the status of Rika and where she is. That's a lot. That's a lot for 7 pages. I think it's quite decent. There is no way I've been here for 52 minutes. Sweet mother mercy. What the heck? Okay, now that... See, this is what happens when I let myself yap unrestrained, gosh darn it. But with that, all that being the case, I think the chapter's good. I think the chapter's worthy. And I kind of want people to get on Gege's back. I know some people have been like wishing terrible things on Gege. One, why? Why? They made some of your favorite characters. Gojo wouldn't exist without Gege. Megami wouldn't exist without Gege. Nobara wouldn't exist. Why are you wishing negative things on people? They make manga. Even me. Oh, but they did this and this with my favorite character. Oh, God, this is a manga. What's wrong with you people? Really? Really? Get on your back. Gosh darn it. And once again, for those who are like, she shouldn't release this chapter, y'all, once again, they know there's much creative control. And just as an example that may fit more, at least this is what I know. Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman, they are responsible for the recent run on Venom. The whole idea of Null and the symbiote lore, all that, they're responsible for all that. And spoilers for Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 5, but that game's well over 6 months old now, so I feel like I didn't talk about it, especially because the story ain't that long. A lot of the stuff that happens with Venom in that game is heavily based on that run. Super heavily based. A lot of it. Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman got no credit. None. You can go through the credits now. Well after the game's got numerous updates. I think some credits even did get updated, and more suits have been added, all the stuff like that. Not a single dollop of credit was given to them, even though a lot of their iconography and their lore was just flat out taken. Why? Because they don't own it. Marvel owns it. That's the same thing with JJK. Gege don't own it. Shonen Jump owns it. And then whoever owns Shonen Jump. It does not have much creative control, so they have to release this. And I'm fine with it. I think they give us a lot for very little, and I think they deserve to rest. Because making manga is not easy. I say that as a guy who doesn't even make manga. I say that as a guy who likes to draw. Drawing ain't easy. Even if Gege does have assistants, even if they aren't raw dogging it like Nagama does, all by themselves, still, making manga ain't easy. So let them rest. They've long since earned it. And honestly, what y'all rushing for? Because the moment Gege is done with JJK, that's it. So I say, take all the time you need, dog. Take all the time you need. You know how happy I am? You know how many videos I'm going to be able to record? Just that aren't pertaining to the modern box? Man, I'm geeked. I'm happy that we're taking 3 weeks. Take a month. Literally, go back to what happened when you were making the Zen Clan Massacre. Take a month. Take 2. Take 3. Take 4. Take the rest of the year off, KK. If they'll let you. They probably won't. But with that being the case, I hope you guys enjoyed this chunk of a video. Golly. But if you made it all the way to the end of it, please leave future past. Future as in like the future and past as in the past. I don't know. I hope I don't need to spell. FUTURE PAST. Future past in the comment section down below. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below where you support me for as low as $1 things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You can also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks will include the 20-minute live reaction to this very chapter, ad-free variations of all my videos, and if you come into a $5 patron or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below, where you can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans. 25 beats for a long video, or any support at all is always greatly appreciated. I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members who currently plays Greyhound, Atkins Void, Astro, Eternal Flame, King Sukuna, NMA, Real Rare, Paris Arnold, G Prosper, and Red Wolf 4765. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 patrons, Steron, Sean, Sammy, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin Encarnacion, Josh Brown, and A+A. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $7 patrons, Autumn Mornings Lazo and Fine. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $10 members, Robbie Uchiha and Jay Warrior. And I'd like to give another thank you to our $10 patrons, Panda Goat, Metal Solid Crisis, Joaquin Munoz, and Joaquin Munoz, along with Idemokami. And I'd like to give a final gargantuan thank you to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder.